we realize that heaven rules. We're gonna follow God. I wanna share something with you that I saw that really touched me. A lot of you remember the Sandy Hook Elementary tragedy that took place back in December. Horrible day when this insane guy came in and just murdered all those precious children. And of course, the news media comes with all their opinions of why, and even the religious folks come in with their whys, and I'm not even sure they got it right all the time either. Everybody wants to blame something. You know who I thought had the clearest perspective of it all was Governor Mike Huckabee, this former Baptist pastor, and I want to read an excerpt of something he said, and I want you to listen to it for your own life. He says, for 50 years, we have systematically attempted to have God removed from our schools and our public activities. But then at the moment we have a calamity, we wonder, where's God? And of course, people say, oh, you just want prayer in schools? He goes, no, it's far more than just taking prayer or Bible out of schools. It's the fact that people sue a city so we aren't confronted with a manger scene. Now that's become offensive, a manger scene, or a Christmas carol. Let's call it a holiday carol. That lawsuits are filed to remove crosses from a memorial to a fallen soldier, which, by the way, there are 3 little crosses on that street in Boston where those 3 precious people died. I saw it yesterday on the news, and everybody's leaving it there. It's fine. Everybody's made it a little makeshift memorial. Give it a few more weeks, and there'll be a group who says, well, that's unconstitutional. And we've got to ask ourselves, do we know best or does God know best? He said that churches and Christian-owned businesses are told to surrender their values under the edict of government orders to provide tax-funded abortion pills. We carefully and intentionally stop saying things are sinful, and we call them disorders. Sometimes we even say it's normal and get to where that we have to abandon bedrock moral truths. And then we ask, where's God? Well, I responded as I see it, he said. We escorted him right out of our culture. We marched him off the public square. Then we express our surprise that a culture without him actually reflects what it has become. As soon as the tragedy unfolded, I think God did show up. He showed up in the lives of teachers who put their lives between a gunman and their students. He showed up in policemen who rushed into the school not knowing if they would be met with a barrage of bullets. He showed up in the form of hugs and tears for children, parents, and teachers who lived through the slaughter. He showed up at overflowed church services where people lit candles and prayed. He showed up in the White House where the president invoked God's name and quoted from God's book. And in a few weeks, we'll probably ask God to excuse himself from view. And we will announce in our arrogant pride that we are now enlightened and educated and we've evolved beyond needing him. And somebody's gonna suggest that we pass a law to stop all this kind of thing. And I might wanna point out that we don't have to pass a new law. There's one that's been around for quite a while that works if we'll just teach it, and that is thou shalt not kill. Oh, there are about 9 others, but to tell you about them would require bringing God back, and we know how unacceptable that might be. I think he's right on. I think he's right on. And that's not a political statement at all. I just think that is a healthy view that if we just come back and instead of excusing God bring him back in. Let me show you this, not in your notes, Isaiah 66 verse 2. The one I esteem, this is the one I esteem. This is God talking. This is the one I esteem.